Well, Jared Leto strikes again. This time as Marvel anti-hero Michael Morbius, the human vampire. Yes, I actually found out about Michael Morbius when I was, I think about 18. I, wasn't much of a comic book nerd. I was kind of stubborn. I was too stubborn to research, okay? That's the kind of guy I was. And I look back and I go, why didn't I convince myself to actually read more about these Marvel characters? Why didn't I, read about Doctor Strange? But Morbius, I only found out a few years back. Now, Morbius I found out thanks to the 90s Spider-Man series. Not the 60s series, but the 90s series. That's the one that a lot of us grew up with. Okay, I grew up with both the 60s animated series and the 90s animated series, but I didn't discover Morbius until Netflix had Spider-Man, the 90s animated series, for a period of time, and I watched the episodes, and I'm going, I like Michael Morbius. He's just cool. Now we have Jared Leto as Michael Morbius. Oh boy, Jared Leto. Every time I see Jared Leto, I go, oh boy, things are tense. Every time Jared Leto's on screen, even on interviews, even when he appeared on Conan O'Brien and Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, I always felt on edge with Jared Leto. I like him as an actor, but for some reason, he, a lot of actors possess a warmthness to them, kind of like a stress reliever. They would take the stress away from you, and you would kind of feel, I don't feel, the tension anymore when you see actors. Actors such as Burl Ives, Paul Walker, and, Dwayne Johnson. Those actors possess the power of less stress. Once you see them, you go, things are going to be fine. Jared Leto, on the other hand, I feel nothing but stress with Jared Leto. I go, okay. Because Jared Leto plays intense characters. A lot of times he played the drug addict. In movies such as Requiem for a Dream and the Nicolas Cage film Lord of War. And then he went on to play real-life criminals in films such as Chapter 27, where he played Mark David Chapman, the man who shot John Lennon. That was a tense one. And now he's playing another tense guy, Michael Morbius, the human vampire. I only know the origins of Morbius thanks to the 90s series, so looks like I got my research cut out for this. Better do some reading of comic books before seeing this film in January. A lot of horror films have a bad reputation for being released in January. It's kind of weird because my grandmother was born in January and she loved horror films. Not gore-fest films, just more suspense thrillers like Hide and Seek, Seven, or classic ones like Vincent Price's The Fly. Anyways, Morbius, I want to see it. Not because it's Marvel, but I actually want to see how they're going to adapt the origins of Michael Morbius. I know in the animated one from the 90s, he was a guy from researching for a cure to help with a virus in his village. But in this one, he says he's dying of something, and he says people around the world have my condition. This looks very cool. Another thing I want to add on, trailers nowadays are just killing it with the music. I mean, they will have recognizable songs. This trailer featured People Are Strange from The Doors. And Army of the Dead featured Kenny Rogers' The Gambler. And I'm thinking right now, is this the new way to revive music? I think so.